Welcome to the C Weezy Sports Picks podcast. This is Chris Wise. I am your host, and I am with my man and the fantasy champion, C-Rob, Corey Robinson. How you doing this morning, big dog?
Feeling great, baby. Feeling like a winner. Winner, chicken dinner, baby. Hey, it don't matter how you win. You just got to win. That's what I'm telling you.
Just got to win, man. What a great victory for you, cashing that ticket, winning around $1,300 in our big money fantasy league. I know your bank account is loving that. Unfortunately, your boy took the L in the championship. In 2 out of the last 3 years, I've faced this opponent in the championship, and I'm 0-2. And I left points on the table. So not very excited as much as you are. Did finish second place, but super pumped. Go into a little bit about your game, how you're feeling, and let's go ahead and give the people and the followers the topics that we're going to go over today and get this podcast going because it's Victory Tuesday, baby, and these mother trucking boys got a chance to make the playoffs.
Yes, they do, baby. I told you. Hey, start off with fantasy first, but so fantasy, man, I'm pumped. I'm excited because number one, I think I need to state this first. I think because this podcast is going to be something that's positive and, it's something that we're going to expand into other things as well. But talking about this fantasy championship that I had, I think the lesson learned from it too is that, whenever you have success, you're always going to have haters. And you got to just silence them by continuing to do what you do, trust in your gut, and you do what you do. So basically from tonight, well, I'll go back to Christmas Day. Christmas Day, I'm playing Alvin Kamara. He's got 6 rushing touchdowns, sets a record, just my luck. I think I'm done. Everybody thinks I'm done. Adam Thielen scores a touch. I told myself, Adam Thielen scores right here. I have Adam Thielen and Kirk Cousins. I said, if Adam Thielen scores right here, I'm gonna have a chance. And you know what he did? He scored. So then Saturday comes along, right? The guy that I'm playing starts the backup running back for the Dolphins because Myles Gaskin comes back, got a stub, 0.3. Then he's got Waller for 11.2, and so he's still winning by a good margin. My gut told me to start Nelson Aguilar. I didn't. I started T.Y. Hilton. So once he got 21.5 points, I thought I was done. But anyways, I go into Monday night up 8, and he's got Josh Allen and the Buffalo's defense, and I got Stephon Diggs. So, the best case scenario, what happens is what happened actually is the best case scenario. But, yeah. But the worst case scenario is that, New England doesn't score any points, which they barely did. And Buffalo's defense goes off, and then Josh Allen goes off, and, I lose. But what happened was Stephon Diggs, caught 3 touchdowns, 145 yards. That was my best pick this year. Leaving a team for the reasons of, him not liking the way that they're going to go offensively. He's a stud. Him and Adam Thielen together, they were a great duo, but he wanted to go out on his own, be a number 1 receiver by himself. And he's proved, he has Josh Allen, their relationship. That was a big pickup for me. I had Stephon Diggs in probably two or three out of my leagues. But basically what it came down to last night was Buffalo's defense against who would have known for the fantasy championship, Jared Stidham. I needed 11 yards, okay? They had 189 yards of total offense. The Patriots did against Buffalo's defense. They had 9 points at the time. I was up by 0.08, not 0.8.
Hey, real quick, let me let the people know. This was the final score of his fantasy league. This is a 2-quarterback league. We've been doing this probably for 10 years. I love it. It's a little bit different than regular fantasy leagues, and it makes the drafting a little bit different having to start 2 quarterbacks every week. This is the final score of Corey's championship game. What a comeback. Corey, 163.78 against Joe, who scored 162 1.7. My man won 1,300 by 1 point. Now continue.
So going into like the last few minutes of the game, I was up by it was 163.78 because Diggs and Josh Allen had already got taken out of the game. And I was up by 0.08, not 0.8, 0.08. The score was 163.78 to 163.7.
Yeah.
Okay. And then so the Patriots get the ball back. Jared Stidham throws the ball to one of the shifty backs. They pick up 12 yards. They get 201 total yards. He drops a point, and then we all know the rest of the story. The Buffalo Bills run the clock out because Bill Belichick told the refs run the ball out. Of course, trying to win the ship, and he did it.
Yeah,
but
the Bills could have got a sack, safety, interception, and he would have won. So I'm sure you were just watching that final drive like no other.
It was great, but this championship was probably I was a huge underdog in the fact of everybody in the league except for a couple people didn't want me to win. I lost my starting running back last week, and what do you know what happens? The guy that I beat out for MVP, we were neck and neck before Monday night, and I won by 15 points. He's salty, changed his name to some stuff that we're not going to talk about on here about. So then what do? I changed my name for the championship game to something that we're not going to talk about here either. But what he does, I don't respect it. He picks up one of the only running backs that's starting this week that's not a starter, and he's not even contention for fourth place.
Yep.
Even in it.
Haters, man.
Haters. And you know what happened? Right after that happened, Leonard Fournette, they come out with a story. Leonard Fournette's going to start for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers for the second straight week. And I said, let's go, baby. And honestly, it just, and the guy I'm playing, cocky, thinking he had it in the bag,
I thought he did too. I thought he did too. Kamara,
honestly,
6 touchdowns, and you still win. I mean, it just shows kudos to you. Also, you won the MVP, so clear-cut, outright champion, best player in fantasy this year in that league. Man, congratulations. That's awesome.
Yeah, numbers don't lie. But, no, I love all the boys. I know it's just trash talk. It's fantasy football. It's, it's all good because I'm coming home with a belt. So, what's up? But let's get into what we're talking about today. So, we'll start off, with the playoff picture in the AFC, NFC. It's pretty crazy. There's a bunch of spots open. I think there's the most spots open going into week 17 than any other time. I don't know how long, but I didn't look up that stat. That's my fault. But there's a lot of spots left, especially with the playoff brackets. Going from 6 teams to 7. We're adding one in there, but there's a lot of spots taken, and the Cowboys as well. Can they get in? Can they win? Can the Eagles come off and beat Washington and Philly? But we're going to talk about the AFC playoff picture. We're going to talk about the Bills and Chiefs in the AFC. The Bills last night proved to us that they're a contender.'re going to talk about that. Talk about the Chiefs, and then we're going to go. Then we're going to go into Tua and Fitzmagic, and then we're going to dive into that and see how that goes with what's really going on there. Because it's pretty crazy that how all that stuff's happening. So, but we're going to talk about the NFC East as well. But let's start off with the playoff picture in the AFC. We can start with the AFC. We have 5 teams that are coming in playing for a playoff spot. We got the Dolphins. They're playing at Buffalo. The Ravens are playing against Cincinnati. The Browns are playing against Pittsburgh. Colts are playing against Jacksonville. And then the Titans as well, they're playing Houston. What are your thoughts, Chris?
Man, I'm excited. We'll break down the AFC first. Like he said, we have 5 games, and here are the scenarios. Titans win, they're in. Dolphins win, they're in. Ravens win, they're in. Browns win, they're in. They all control their own destiny. The only team that needs help is the Colts, and they let a game slip away last week versus the Steelers when I thought they were going to run away with it. The Colts need to win. They're 14-point favorites at home versus Jacksonville. I strongly believe they're going to win this game. They need one of the following teams to lose: Titans, Dolphins, Ravens, or Browns. That's the only way that they get in. The Kansas City Chiefs and the front runner to win the Super Bowl, who are 14-1, have locked up that number 1 seed. Now, the rest of the games that we have that are very important is all going to be based on seeding and who plays who next week for the wild card. Man, I think the Colts are going to be out. I think the Titans win, Dolphins win, Ravens win, Browns win, and I can't wait to see how those matchups line up for next Saturday and Sunday for wild card week. We talked about this a few podcasts ago. There is the team in that AFC that no one wants to play right now, and that is your Baltimore Ravens. They are 0-2 with Lamar under center in the playoffs, but they are running the ball, averaging over 200 yards these last couple of games. And I'm telling you right now, the Dolphins don't want to see them. The Browns don't want to see them again. The Ravens don't want to see them. The Tennessee Titans, last year upsetting them, they don't want to see Baltimore either. I would have to give it the power rankings for the AFC. I think there's 2 teams legitimately have a chance to go to the Super Bowl. And to me, that's your Kansas City Chiefs and the Bills Mafia. This team is for real. Josh Allen is a stud. Their coach has been phenomenal with this team. And I think those 2 are the front runners. And I think that is going to be your AFC championship game in Kansas City is Josh Allen versus Patrick Mahomes. What do you think?
So I want to go back a little bit to the playoff picture. So right now, the Bills and the Steelers are sitting at 12-3. The Steelers win and the Bills win. The Bills get the 2nd seed. Steelers get the 3rd seed. The Bills lose, Steelers win, Steelers go to the 2nd seed. So the Dolphins playing at Buffalo week 17. To be honest with you, I think that's the team that drops out, is the Dolphins.
Okay.
I don't think they go into Buffalo and beat the Bills.
Right.
I think that the Colts are going to sneak in because they're playing Jacksonville. I think the Dolphins lose to Buffalo, and Buffalo gets the 2nd seed. I definitely agree with what you're talking about on the matchup for the Super Bowl. I think it's the Bills and not the Super Bowl, the AFC Championship, the Bills and Chiefs. But I do want to talk about, is this going to be the biggest the most devastating turnaround of events for the Cleveland Browns? Are they going to beat the Steelers, or are they going to lose and jump out of the playoffs? Baker Mayfield playing against the 2-win Jets, or the 1-win Jets at the time. Now they're 2 wins, and they lose. No receivers. I can, kind of go with them and say he didn't have everything. He didn't have all the tools that he needed. I get that, but he made some crucial turnovers late in the game. And so, honestly, I think it's going to be very devastating for the Browns. I don't think they beat the Steelers. They might. They could. They have a chance. But the Dolphins are going to be dropping out for sure.
I think you're right. I want to go back on that. I forgot the Dolphins are playing the Bills. The Bills are playing for the number 2 seed. I do think the Dolphins lose this week unless they start Ryan Fitzmagic. But go ahead and continue. But, yeah, I think you're right. Colts get in because they're going to beat the Jags. I do think the Dolphins are going to lose versus the Bills Mafia. The big game is going to be the Browns and Steelers.
Yep, I definitely agree. I think that's the game that, like you kind of touched on before. The Ravens, man, they're not a team that you want to play right now. They've won 4 straight games. They're rolling right now, and you don't want to play them. Freaking Dez Bryant catching touchdowns again. I love to see it. I'm happy he didn't do it against us, but honestly, man, the Ravens are a dangerous team. Their defense is good enough to win. Their offense is good enough to win. The question mark that we have for the Ravens, number one, can you win a playoff game? You got to get over that hump, Lamar Jackson. Can he do it? I think he can. But the X factor to that is he going to be accurate enough to make those big throws down the stretch? Because you ain't going to be able to run the ball all game long. You're going to have to make some big throws. And Lamar Jackson has not looked that great throwing the ball. His accuracy has not been on since he's came back from the COVID list. He hasn't been throwing the ball that well. They've been able to run the ball, a lot and get a bunch of yards, from him, from Dobbins, from, a bunch of collective people, Gus Edwards. They've got a bunch of, running backs. They got a good running trio. So
Yeah, they do.
That'll take them places, but they're going to have to, be able to throw the ball down the stretch. And then going into the Chiefs and the Bills. So the Chiefs have won in the last 7 games. They've won by 6 or less points. People question that. They want to question how good are the Chiefs. Because they only win by 6. Even teams that aren't that good, they've been doing that for the last couple of years, and they've been winning. As long as you win games, it doesn't matter how you win. Just like my fantasy, you just got to win. They haven't played the best at all times, but let me tell you this: big-time players make big-time plays in big-time games. Patrick Mahomes, one of the best quarterbacks in the league, top 2 quarterback in the league. Him and Rodgers pretty close. He is going to show up in the big moments and make the big plays. It don't matter what defense is in front of him; he's going to make the play. And the Chiefs are for real, man. I have them winning the Super Bowl again. It's just you just can't really stop them. Offensively, they've got it going. Defensively, they step up in the playoffs as well. So we'll see what happens there. The Bills are contenders, and they are set up for the long term. Well, watching that game last night, it's plain as day. Josh Allen, Stephon Diggs, they're playing backyard football. They're having a good time. They're playing. Everybody's happy. Stephon Diggs was kind of like a Dez Bryant type of feel. He's very passionate. When he's not getting the ball, it's not necessarily that he's getting the ball. It's when they're losing. Their offense isn't working the right way. He's very passionate. He likes to speak out. He doesn't hold his feelings down. But he's very happy in Buffalo. He's got a new best friend. They play Call of Duty together. They slang the rock. Get 3 won me a fantasy championship. I love the Buffalo Bills. Their defense is pretty dang good. And they've had some injuries this year, but they're a pretty damn good defense. And I think that if anybody in the AFC has a chance to beat the Chiefs, it's going to be the Bills.
Yep.
And honestly, I can't wait. I cannot wait for the AFC Championship game. The Chiefs versus the Bills. Winner goes to the Super Bowl. I think the Chiefs win, but I wouldn't be surprised if Josh Allen and the Buffalo Bills win. They're a good enough team to do it. But yeah, so that's my take. You want to let's move into the NFC East, the Cowboys. I see the Cowboys in the background right there, Chris. What do you think about the Cowboys this past week? What do you think of their performance?
Man, I'll say this. I love it that our defense is playing a lot better. I love the way Andy Dalton is playing as well. This is what I anticipated when Dak went down. I told everyone, man, I don't think that our offense is really going to – obviously, Dak is a better quarterback, I believe. But I didn't think our offense was going to take a major step back. And he's been playing very well with those wide receivers. I love the intensity. I love it that it's week 17. And even though 5 weeks ago I was team tank and I'm thinking we're going to get a top 5 pick, I am on board to make the playoffs. I am 100% on board that we beat the New York Giants. And I do believe Jalen Hurts balls out on Sunday Night Football. And we don't know who the starting quarterback is going to be for the Washington team. Hopefully it's Alex Smith. It'll be a hell of a story if he goes out there and he leads his team to a division championship and gets them in the playoffs. But I'm saying it now. The Dallas Cowboys are going to win the division, and they're going to host a playoff game. And Andy Dalton might get his first playoff victory at home, and the 7-9 Dallas Cowboys make it to the second round. I firmly believe.
All aboard!
Hey, something about getting in the dance. It's all it takes is getting in the dance, and you got to play to win. There's some big games in the NFC as well. Let's go through it real quick. Packers, Saints, Seahawks have all won their division, have locked up a playoff spot. Packers, Saints, Seahawks are all still playing to win the number 1 seed. If the Packers win versus the Chicago Bears, they'll lock up the number 1 seed, and it will go through Lambeau in the frozen tundra. Aaron Rodgers has played in a couple NFC championship games. Most of the time it's been on the road, and they have struggled. If they play at home, I think it's going to be a very difficult team to knock out. So here's the scenarios real quick. If the Packers win or the Packers lose and the Saints win, the Packers still get the number 1 seed. If the Packers lose, Saints lose, Seahawks win, the Seattle Seahawks jump up to the number 1 seed. And you'll have to go to the 12th man to get to the Super Bowl. And a couple years ago, that was the NFC Championship game, was the Green Bay Packers versus the Seattle Seahawks in Seattle. It went to overtime, and the Seahawks won, advancing them to the Super Bowl. Here's the wild card. Bucks have locked up a wild card spot. We got the Rams, who are now playing with the backup quarterback. We got the Chicago Bears, who've got 4 games in a row with Mitchell under center, averaging over 30 points, and David Montgomery going wild running the ball. You have the Arizona Cardinals playing on the road versus the Rams, and it could be the battle of the backups. If the Cardinals lose and the Bears win, they're in. If the Rams lose, Bears win, the Cardinals drop out. The only team that has locked it up is the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and the GOAT, Tom Brady. They're only playing for seeding purposes now. I absolutely all in on the Dallas Cowboys getting in the playoffs. I do believe the Bears are going to lose a tough game playing the Packers. Packers are going to lock up that number 1 seed. If Kyler Murray plays, I think the Arizona Cardinals win and they make the playoffs. So that would mean the Cowboys, Packers, Saints, Seahawks, Bucks, Rams, Cardinals would be our playoff teams in the NFC. There's some big games this weekend. I think the biggest is going to be Sunday Night Football, baby, because no matter what, if the Cowboys win or the Giants win, that game solely will be on if Washington wins, they're in the playoffs. If Philly wins, whoever won the Dallas Giants game will be in the playoffs.
Yeah. And honestly, I mean, there's two teams that, have been playing playing great this year, the Browns and the Rams. They both played pretty good football this year, and they're both on the cusp of having devastating turnarounds in their season. As a Cowboy fan, we're kind of used to stuff like that, where you kind of just lose it.
Hey, real quick on that, you know what team beat both of those teams and put them in jeopardy? The New York Jets beat the Browns and beat the Rams. So you know what, Baker and Goff, if your ass is getting packed and watching the playoffs from home, you let the freaking Jets knock you out of the playoffs. Come on, man.
Come on, man. Sam Darnold getting herpes or whatever he got. Come on, man. Sam Darnold? Really? It's all right. I think the Jets, it's pretty crazy too, because the Jets, they have a good – I don't think Sam Darnold's that bad of a quarterback. I really don't. I think you could build around him, and, he could be pretty good in this league. I think the coaching is a big factor in New York for the Jets. They need to get Adam Gase out.
They need to get him out. What do you think of the NFC picture, though?
So the NFC picture, I think that the Bears are going to lose to Green Bay. I think Green Bay is going to the Super Bowl. I think anybody going through the frozen tundra, that they don't want to play there. You're not going to beat Green Bay in the playoffs. It's not going to happen at this time of the year. But I think if Kyler Murray plays, I think they win. Now, the only problem is they still got a defense. They still got a good defense. So the Rams defense could carry them into the playoffs, and then Goff, maybe comes back. But I can't wait to see how good this quarterback plays. There's a lot, honestly, and it's a very good thing to see for our league, for the NFL, and all the other leagues that are happening. 3 quarterbacks this week could be starting from either the XFL, CFL, and AFL.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and so one of them's going to be for the Rams. One of them's going to be for the Cardinals if Kyler Murray don't play, and then another one is the backup quarterback for the Redskins. He stepped in and had a good day. I think the Eagles they've got their hands full. They don't really know much about this guy, and I actually think he's a pretty good quarterback. He came in and played pretty well against the Panthers. So I'm hoping the Cowboys get in. They got to win to get in, and then they got to have the Washington Redskins lose. I think it's going to be suspenseful.
Washington football team. I know I say it all the time. Sorry about if we're offended any Indians out there, but it's tough. Washington football team.
Oh, well, I keep saying Redskins. Sorry.
Yeah.
I keep forgetting. My bad. But the Washington football team, they cut Dwayne Haskins. I think, God, that's – he has to have some issues going on, like with maturity, or they wouldn't have cut him. I mean, that's too early in a rookie deal to cut somebody unless it's a maturity thing. So
100%.
Let's all rest in peace, Dwayne Haskins' professional football career. It's in the dump. Just like Jamarcus Russell, we thought you were going to be good, but you suck.
Man, I hate it for these young QBs when you have an opportunity that thousands of young men would love to be in. And he's had a couple moments, man. His first victory as a starting quarterback, he's taken a selfie with a fan in the stands, and he didn't even get to take victory formation. That was the first strike, and it's just been downhill since then. And I think this is what I respect out of Ron Rivera. I do not think that this was a owner or general manager decision. This is Ron Rivera's decision on, hey, I am putting a culture in. You don't do the shit that we ask you to do, and you're not responsible enough to be a starting quarterback in the NFL, and we gave you a captain spot. This is not how you want to be represented. That defensive end, Chase Young, that young buck, that's the representative that you want for the Washington football team. So I don't feel sorry for the kid. I hope that he bounces back and he gets an opportunity and let this be the bottom that he hits. But man, very unfortunate going into week 17 with the division on the line to get in the playoffs.
Hey, I want to throw something out there. Dwayne Haskins out there. Guess who's going to go pick him up?
Who you got?
The Patriots. Honestly, that's a good place for him to go based off of culture. That's what I want to get into real quick is culture. So I'm watching the game last night, and this is what I'm thinking about too. Josh Allen, right, comes into the league. He's passed up by, the Broncos. He got passed up by a bunch of teams that needed a quarterback at the time. Yeah. The Broncos, where I thought he was going to go at pick 5, they picked Bradley Chubb. Okay. But he goes to the Bills, and the Bills, growing up and, in my time right now, the Bills have never really been the best at all. Like they've kind of showed flashes here and there, but they really haven't had their guy.
Yeah.
Right. And, just watching the game last night, you just get a feel that Josh Allen has evolved into something that's, an elite talent that's just, he's evolved from the culture of the football team, of the organization from the top down. Sean McDermott came in 4 years ago. They got Josh Allen. Ever since then, they've just been on the rise. And I think they made a hell of a trade to get Stephon Diggs.
Absolutely.
You could have drafted any other receiver. You could have drafted one of these standout receivers, in the first round last year, but they didn't. They went out and got Stephon Diggs, gave away a pick for a veteran guy that's still young. And it's the passion, it's the intensity, and it's the culture is what separates teams like the Chiefs, the Bills, and then right now the Packers. The Packers have that culture as well. Aaron Rodgers. I told everybody before the year started. I said Aaron Rodgers is a bad man. and you're going to draft a quarterback in the first round before anything help for this man, he's going to come out slinging. He was hurt last year. Okay. He's going to come out slinging. I had him in my fantasy league. Now the Packers, they're going to go to the Super Bowl. They've set themselves up for them to go to the Super Bowl. Everybody's going to have to come into Green Bay and play them. And it's going to be a great playoffs, man. I think it's going to be awesome.
What team in the NFC, kind of like in the AFC, we got Chiefs top tier. In the NFC, we got Packers top tier. Is there a team that can challenge them and go into Lambeau and beat them? Do you have a team? To me, I got one, and I am never going to count out the GOAT. The Bucs have been playing really well, and they've been spreading the ball around a lot. Tom has been in those situations. Please, football gods, give us the Tampa Bay Buccaneers versus the Green Bay Packers in the NFC Championship game. That might be one of the most watched NFC Championship games of all time. And that's what I'm hoping for.
That's what I want. Just because of Tom, coming to the NFC to play, play Aaron Rodgers best of the best. That's what I want. What's probably going to happen, and I think the Saints are probably the team they're probably the best set up team to beat the Packers in Green Bay. And the reason why is because they can run the football. And I learned that this weekend. 6 touchdowns rushing the ball. But I think that they're set up they could beat a team like Green Bay in Green Bay by running the football, clock management. The factor that's going to have to play into it is, can Drew Brees take care of the football down the stretch, throwing the football? His arm strength's really not there. He's got, 11 broken ribs or whatever the hell he's playing on. But honestly, the Saints are probably the only team in the NFC right now that I think could be set up to beat Green Bay. The Bucs are probably right there next in line. I don't think their running game is good enough to beat Green Bay in Green Bay. I think that they've been on the beach too much. They haven't been to a frozen tundra in a while. They just played indoors with the Lions, beat them 47-7. But I think if they have to go to Green Bay, I don't think that they have a very good chance. I would love to see the matchup though, and that would be awesome if they just go back and forth. Tom Brady, Aaron Rodgers slinging it. That'd be so awesome, dude. But let's get into the NFC East. I know I jumped around a little bit. I'm sorry. But the NFC East playoff picture, we got the Cowboys against the Giants. Whoever wins that game, and if Washington loses, they get in. It's pretty crazy, man, that we're here. Like, it's 6-9. The Cowboys are 6-9. Yeah, Cowboys are 6-9. Yeah. Washington's 6-9. And that's the leading the division. That's crazy, man. It's a trash division, but I do want to make this statement, and I'm going to keep this statement, okay? If the Cowboys get into the playoffs, this is what I think, and this is what I think is going to happen. I think that the Cowboys keep every single coach that they have, even Mike Nolan. Look, we've been historically bad this year. We've been historically bad, okay? We've given up 450 points. It's like 50. That's 50 points more than anybody in this trash division. Okay. But our defense has been so bad. But the last 3 weeks, our defense has played, has pretty much kept us in the game. I don't know if you really, and I'm sure you did because you know football, but the way that the Cowboys defended Jalen Hurts last week was pretty next level, dude.
Yeah, they did really well, man.
And for the listeners that don't know what we're talking about, what the Cowboys did against Jalen Hurts is what they had a spy that sat in the middle of the field. And so every time that Jalen Hurts got to his last step in his drop, that spy runs up right kind of near the line of scrimmage and just goes where Jalen Hurts goes. So if he rolls out to the right, that spy is going to be right there, right? And then they have coverage, and then they have the people that are rushing up the field. I think Randy Gregory came into his own last week.
Love
it. He played a great game. Our run stopping defense, we played pretty good. But that spy in our defense is what really, set us apart from the Eagles in that game, because right when Fletcher Cox went out on defense for the Eagles, our offense started rolling.
Yeah.
Zeke started getting the rock, started eating, and then Andy Dalton just, we were at one point I felt like it was just long ball. It was like big gain after big gain. It was like we were that one corner for the Eagles, man. He got picked apart. Like, I felt really bad for the guy, especially when Amari Cooper put that move on. He felt, oh man, he was on skates, man. And Michael Gallup, he's a beast, dude. And he took that guy. He took him and just he didn't even care. Like, it was like he wasn't even there. Like, that's how bad it was.
And I'd say my thoughts on the game is Zeke, after watching Tony Pollard have a hell of a game, he came out there with a chip on his shoulder, and he ran the best that I've seen him run. His burst through the line and his intensity is what the Cowboys need, and that's why we paid him that money. I still don't agree with the contract that he got, but if he can run that way and we can sprinkle in Tony Pollard, it helps out Andy Dalton tremendously. We have the weapons on the outside. Now, are we a good football team? No, we're not. Is anyone in this division a good football team? No, they're really not. Can they win on any given Sunday? Yes. Is Andy Dalton the best starting quarterback in the division right now? Yes, I believe that he is. Now, do I think Daniel Jones, Hurts, and Wentz are going to be – they have a potentially to be better than Andy Dalton over their career? I do. But right now, there's no other QB that I'd want besides the red rifle. He's no longer the red BB gun, baby. He's the red rifle. And the boy was throwing dimes to our 3 stud wide receivers this weekend, and I was really taken back. Our defense is playing really well. Guess what happens when you get turnovers? You set your team up for success. When you win the turnover battle, you win football games. And that is why when we force turnovers by Daniel Jones and that Giants offense and Jason Garrett, we know what your little ass is going to run this weekend. That's why the Dallas Cowboys are going to win the football game, and they're going to be huge Philadelphia Eagles fans on Sunday night, and Philly is at home. And nothing better than Jalen Hurts to go out there and solidify himself the opportunity to be the starting quarterback for Philly next year by knocking out the Washington football team on Sunday Night Football, letting the Dallas Cowboys advance and making the playoffs.
Crazy stat. The Red Rifle, 6 games of 350 plus passing yards and 3+ TDs. Russell Wilson, how many does he have?
I don't know. Is that this year or is that?
I think it's got to be in his career.
Career, yeah. With you saying that, I'll say he has less. So yeah, that's a good stat, man.
Good stat, dude. I like you kind of touched on it too. I think he hasn't won a playoff game. I think if we get in, I think we can make a run. You just got to get in, man. I mean, I'm a Cowboys fan. I'm always optimistic, but at the end of the day, I don't think that we win and go to the Super Bowl. But hey, you never know what happens. 2020 is a crazy year, man. There's no fans. There's no fans, man. So anything can happen. We get Zeke rolling. We get Zach Martin back for the playoffs. Boy.
I'll tell you what, regardless, I'll be fired up having a playoff watch party. And we do have fans in Dallas. We got 30,000 plus at the home games, baby. Jerry, go ahead and make that money. Let's win that division. Let's get the T-shirts and the hats, baby. NFC East, let's win the division. What's next?
What's next? Tua Fitzmagic.
Bro, I said this 2 weeks ago. Ryan Fitzmagic is a better quarterback right now in their career than Tua. He just is. The fact that they pulled him, let Tua start, I get it as an organization. But, dude, watching Ryan Fitzmagic come in that game and win with the no-look pass, face mask, throw it down the sidelines, best no-look pass of the season, I love it. If I'm the coach, man, and I'm going into this last game versus Buffalo where Ryan Fitzpatrick Fitzmagic has played for Buffalo. I'm starting them. I can't believe they're starting Tua. They're going to get down early, and I'm calling it now. They're going to bring in Fitzmagic in the second half and try to get him to have some magic and lead them to victory to get into the playoffs. I would give the keys to Fitzmagic, man, at least for this season, and let Tua learn from a true professional, man. He's played on so many teams. He's been a backup on so many teams, but he is the type of guy that you want on your organization, 100%. I love what he represents. I love his beard. I love his interview when he took Deshaun Jackson's chain and shirt and jacket, and he had the chest hair out. I loved it when he showed up to practice this year with the shorty shorts showing his junk. I'm a Fitzmagic fan.
So, hey, we're saying Fitzmagic right now. But after this week, we could be saying Tua Magic. You know why? I agree. I think you start Ryan Fitzpatrick, right? Do you remember the national championship game when Alabama was playing? I think they were playing Clemson, and Jalen Hurts gets hurt.
Yeah.
Who came in?
He didn't get hurt. He got benched.
Or he got? Are you sure?
Yeah, I'm sure. They were down and they needed a passing QB, and they brought Tua in. We were on Bama too. We were on Bama that game. Yeah, and I loved it.
So he got benched, but Tua Magic came to form, and that's how Jalen Hurts got booted from Alabama, and went on to Oklahoma, and now he's with the Eagles. Blah blah blah. But Tua Magic is real, and it can happen. And honestly, the way that they're running it, they just got to keep doing what they're doing. If they switch the order, put Ryan Fitzpatrick in there, and then have Tua come in. But I think it's allowing Tua to grow a little bit too. I think the way that they're doing, we're never really going to understand why Brian Flores is doing it like he's doing it, but it's working. So just keep it going. Fitzmagic, hopefully he can have some magic. Let's see if the Dolphins can get in. What do you know? Miami Dolphins in the playoffs. When was the last time you heard that?
Man, it's been a while. It's been a while. I was trying to look up and see who they were playing that year when Alabama won. So I don't want to misquote it, but yeah, that was a hell of a game when he came in. Right now, it just looks like he's afraid to pull the trigger. In the NFL, when these wide receivers look covered, they're actually open, and you have to take a chance to move the ball down the field. And right now, that's what Tua is lacking. He is not moving the ball down the field, and he's taking more checkdowns. Now, he's doing a good job of not turning the ball over, but he's playing a little scared on taking those chances on second down, third down to move the ball. And Fitzmagic doesn't.
Yeah, Tua's too inexperienced. You see it with the guys like Aaron Rodgers, just on Sunday Night Football, man. The way that he checks at the line of scrimmage, the way that he sees the field is so different.
Yeah.
The way that you see coverages is so different than rookies, and pretty much almost all the quarterbacks in the league. Like, it's him and Mahomes, and I wouldn't even say Mahomes yet, but like the way that Aaron Rodgers and Tom Brady see the field is different. And I think Tua right now, he's very inexperienced in that regard, like where the coverages, I think you can disguise coverages pretty easy on him. And he's not going to really be able to recognize what you're in. And so that's why I think Fitzpatrick makes sense right now for the Dolphins if they're going to make the playoffs, is because of the experience. I think you have to be able to see the field. And Tua just hasn't been in those situations enough to be able to take him to promised land, and so I think he's going to evolve. I think Tua's going to be a great quarterback in this league. I think he's been playing actually pretty good for a rookie quarterback in the spot that they're in. Just imagine Justin Herbert being on the Miami Dolphins, though.
Yeah, man. That's going to be the big discussion. I think right now the Dolphins have the 3rd or 4th overall pick from Houston in the draft. I'm not a big fan.
Oh, they're not going to draft. They're not going to draft a quarterback.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan. You see on ESPN and stuff, they're asking, do you take a quarterback? I'm not a big fan of taking quarterbacks back-to-back years. I know the Cardinals did it with Rosen and Murray, but
they're 10-5. Like
yeah, you
Tua's
gotta
been playing for.
get him a wide receiver. Maybe get an offensive lineman. Build around him.
Yeah. Their defense set up for the long term too. I mean, Xavier Howard and Byron Jones, they're pretty young. I mean, they're gonna be together for a while. So I would get some help offensively. I don't know if you take a receiver that high, but maybe like the best offensive lineman on the board for sure. And then take your pick and draft a good receiver, or get one in free agency, whatever. But the Dolphins, man, they do need some help around Tua, but you don't draft a quarterback. The Jaguars are going to get Trevor Lawrence.
Yeah.
And then the Jets, honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if the Jets took Justin Fields, but I don't think you do that.
Nah, I don't think you do that either, man. Hey, another great podcast. Congratulations to you again with the belt. You get to wear that belt for an entire year until we get back. And Aaron Rodgers, it's just so fitting. Aaron Rodgers got a belt just like you. That's his touchdown celebration. Hey, again, guys, please go follow us on the IG, C-Weezy Sports Picks, C-Rob Sports Talk. Go follow us on Twitter at Weezy Picks, at C-Rob Sports Talk. Give us a follow, give us a like, comment, and share this. Go check out our YouTube channel. Every video that we upload on IG, we also upload on the YouTube channel. We will drop another podcast this week and talk about the NBA season starting up. And we can't wait to give you a NFL recap next week and check out the NFL playoffs. I'm telling you right now, wild card weekend is going to be phenomenal. And these games are going to be action-packed. And I can't wait. Close us out if you got any final words.
I'm telling you right now, you better be following us because the picks are going to be coming in. And when it's playoff time,
Woo!
there ain't nobody like us, baby. We get on heaters, and you better watch out. Whenever the Super Bowl comes around, the AFC Championship games, we're pretty damn spot on every single year. Even if we aren't betting on it, we're pretty fucking hot, man, on championship games, and it ain't gonna stop ever. So you better ride us. We're gonna probably try to sell some picks here and there, but we like to do some freebies.
Hey,
but
real quick, the NFL playoff package for me and C Rob is that we're gonna do $100 will get you the entire playoffs and the Super Bowl. $100. When it comes Super Bowl time and the NFC and AFC championship, it's going to be $50 for those games exclusively. Jump in early and get the $100 playoff package. We're going to have straight bets, parlays, teasers, and player props. Holla at your mother freaking boy. Dallas Cowboys get you in the playoffs. This is Weezy Sports Mix, Chris Wise, and this is Corey Robinson, C-Rob Sports Talk. Peace.